Welcome to Meares Mo.
Meares.
2014-2015 season is here, our 7th season.
We've been on longer than most sitcoms that are on TV.
We'd like to note up front that we have been challenged to the Ice Bucket Challenge.
We have.
We are not going to do it.
We are not.
In lieu of that, we've started a swear jar for the year.
Yes.
And we'll donate that to some sort of charity.
Yes.
There'll be plenty of money in there.
There will be a ton of money in there.
In the spirit of how many flags we've seen in the preseason,
yes.
We're going to throw flags on each other if we don't like what we hear.
And I guarantee you'll see a lot of flags flying just like you will on preseason games.
Absolutely. Today we're going to do our NFC picks,
yes.
our AFC picks, our Super Bowl picks, and a little bit of fantasy talk.
I like it. I can't wait.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with talking about the NFC.
Okay.
I'm going to let you start and
okay.
tell me what you think is going to happen overall, and then give me your picks for the conference championship game.
I honestly foresee some divisions that aren't going to be competitive this year. I don't think that the NFC North is going to be competitive. I think that the Packers are going to run away with it. I don't think the NFC West is going to be competitive. I think Seattle is going to run away with that.
I actually agree with that.
The NFC South could be, but I mean, I don't see how anybody gets past New Orleans.
Everybody's calling for the Carolina Panthers to not be as good this year.
I don't think they look as
good. I don't know
in
why.
the preseason. You already have Cam Newton with an injury. He's got injured ribs. He's not going to start week 1, they're saying.
My flag on the North is Minnesota.
Minnesota's horrible.
What do you mean they're horrible?
They don't have a quarterback.
They got the guy they drafted.
Matt Castle's starting.
I know. I don't know why they're doing that, but they played well in the preseason.
Did they?
Didn't they have the least penalties? That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, it's because their D-backs played with tennis balls in their hands, so they learned not to grab. And then you have the NFC East, which I think will be a competitive division because I still don't think there's a clear favorite there. I would hope that the Eagles are the clear favorite, but you never know what happens with Washington. If by some miracle RG3 stays healthy, that's a good team.
That ain't happening.
If by some miracle Dallas has a better defense, they can stay competitive. And the Giants, they always come into left field. You never know what they got. So I think that'll be the most competitive.
Wrap it up and give me your picks. Give me your picks.
Eagles, Saints, Packers, Seahawks.
Who you got in the championship game?
Saints, Seahawks.
All right. We talked before the show. The Seahawks, it's going to be hard for them to repeat.
It is going to be
hard. They look awfully good.
They do look good.
And they have everything in place.
Correct.
Russell Wilson hasn't got paid yet.
He has not.
Colin Kaepernick did get paid.
Yeah, and he looks horrible.
He looks horrible. Russell Wilson looks good. I got them going 13-3. But I got them getting upset by somebody in the NFC Championship game. My pick is going to have to be the Saints. But I'm not going to rule out a sneaky team coming in. And I would not sleep on the Eagles. You know me, I'm not a homer. I'm not the one sitting here in an old Eagles jersey.
Of a homer.
But we went to the game on Thursday. They looked really good. I don't know if Pittsburgh's that bad or if it was just the weed factor that was going in with the Pittsburgh Steelers where they were all in trouble with the weed.
They had some weed issues.
I think they would have to grow into a really good team.
Yes.
And Foles has to be the real thing.
Correct.
Which I always go back to, nobody thought Tom Brady was going to be the real thing until he was.
That's true.
He has that kind of poise. He has that kind of look. But if I'm going to pick, I'm going to say Saints, Seattle, in Seattle for the championship game.
Okay.
Eagles win the East, and give me Green Bay for the North.
All right. Who's your NFC Championship? You said Saints against
Saints
Seattle.
versus Seattle.
Got you. All right, cool.
Now on to the AFC. What do you got going on there?
I think it's going to be a competitive year in the AFC. Unfortunately, I also think there are two teams that are head and shoulders above every other team. That is the Broncos and the Patriots. I don't see anybody from the AFC South or the AFC North challenging. I don't think Cincinnati is any good. I don't think Baltimore or Indianapolis is the South. You're right.
You got nothing on
They're going to win their division by 6 games. I don't know if anybody else in their division will be over 500.
Who else is in their division? You got Cleveland?
No. In the South, Indianapolis, you got Jacksonville, Houston, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a runaway.
It's a runaway.
So, I mean...
I can get them a bye.
And I think Cincinnati does come out of the North. I just don't think they're that good. I think they overpaid for Andy Dalton, who has not been proven to be a good quarterback. He's never won a goddamn playoff game. And so I think you got Denver winning, New England winning. They face off again in the AFC Championship game.
Well, way to go out on a fucking limb there, because nobody else is picking that. I mean, we're prognosticators. Why don't we think outside the box a little bit? Fucking Peyton Manning and Tom Brady are 80 years old combined. Their team, like
75.
Denver's, whatever, dude. They're old, and just this automatic that everybody gives them. Oh, they're so good. Manning's going to put up the numbers because he's doing it in the preseason. Brady and Belichick haven't won anything for a long time.
Correct.
They win a lot of games because why? They're in the worst fucking division in goddamn football. I'm going to have to change that here.
Second worst division.
To what?
To the South, the AFC South.
Well, they have been. I mean, the AFC East is going to be better this year.
Yeah.
Minus Buffalo. You got to think Miami's got to make a step forward eventually to be somewhat competitive. They were a little bit competitive last year. The Jets got to do something to compete. And how long is Tom Brady going to be able to nurse along? I mean, Gronkowski's got about the first 6 minutes of the game before he pulls a fucking testicle or whatever it's going to be that he's going to be hurt on. I mean, people who get hurt always get hurt. You're not going to be able to take these 5'7" white guys and continually. I mean, it didn't happen last year.
Right.
He got smoked last year. So this automatic Denver-New England thing, it's time to cut it loose. I got Indianapolis with a bye.
Okay.
I got Denver being the 1 seed. I got them squaring off in the AFC Championship game in Denver. So we have our championship game set.
Yes.
Who do you have going to the Super Bowl? Who do you have winning the Super Bowl?
All right, so I'm going to have Packers going up against the Broncos. I think both those teams win their respective championship games, and I think I said last year that Peyton Manning was going to win the Super Bowl right off on a Bronco. He made it there, didn't do it. This year, Aaron Rodgers is going to win, and he's going to send Manning to retirement, losing 2 Super Bowls in a row.
That's a possibility, but Manning's not going to get to the Super Bowl because Andrew Luck's going to go into Denver and upset Peyton Manning.
Wow, that would be fun.
In the highest rated game in the history of Denver Bronco football. I got Drew Brees going into Seattle, and I got them upsetting Seattle because I just think it's too hard to go back to the Super Bowl.
I agree.
And I don't think there's any chance of Denver playing Seattle again. I think if Seattle were to somehow play before Denver in the championship game, and Seattle were to win, I think Denver would just throw the game because they can't do that back-to-back years. So I have Drew Brees versus Andrew Luck in the Super Bowl, and I actually have Indianapolis winning the Super Bowl this year.
Wow.
All right, so we're going to do just a very little fantasy talk.
Yes.
Give me a couple sleepers. Give me guys that you would take in certain positions in the first round.
This is what I'm giving you. I'm not even going to do that. I want to give you one player at 3 different positions that you should take, and it has nothing to do with the first couple rounds. These are people you want to take in the later rounds.
Yeah.
Ben Tate, going to be a workhorse in Cleveland. He was a workhorse behind Arian Foster when he got hurt. I like him. I think you should take Alshon Jeffrey. He might be up there. He might be second round now. But that guy is going to be a stud behind Brandon Marshall. He's going to get a lot of catches, a lot of touchdowns. You mark my words. Quarterback, I'm going to go out on a limb. Way out on a limb. Say Brian Hoyer. I don't care what he's looked like in preseason. I'm telling you, this guy can throw the ball. He looked great in there's 3 games he played last year. Watch out. He's going to have something to prove, and he's going to play spectacular football.
The coverage of Cleveland. If Johnny Manziel had not been drafted in Cleveland, you wouldn't know anybody on the Cleveland team. You wouldn't be saying Ben Tate right now because you would think he was still in Houston. Give me a break. Here's what I got going on. As soon as you can take Peyton Manning because he's going to have the numbers.
He will.
Don't touch anybody that's 5'8" and white on the team because apparently that's a death sentence. Any receivers that you can get, if you can get Peyton Manning in the first round, you can get any receiver in the third round. Trust me, last year it worked. If you don't get one of the top 5 running backs, get the best wide receiver that you can in the second round. I love anybody with anybody Tony Romo's throwing to because he puts up a ton of numbers.
50 passes.
Anybody Jay Cutler's throwing to, you got Brandon Marshall, Bennett, and you got Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, they're going to be studs. You take the number 1 of some other teams. I mean, this year it should be a year where receivers just go batshit crazy because these rules. We're out of quarters. Fuck it, I'll put a penny in. These rules are absolutely ridiculous, and if they stick to where they can't bump, and these guys get in their rhythm, if you're in a PPR league, if you don't get the top 5 running back, just worry about taking a guy that touches the ball a couple times because wide receivers should be going buck wild this year.
Crazy, yeah, it should be out of control.
So that's a preview show. We look forward to a great season.
Yeah, I can't wait for week 1, dude. I'm so sick of the preseason. I'm so sick of fucking seeing flags. And I'll put some... Wait. I'll put hits.
We'll give 75 cents to the good for next week.
So, yeah, I can't wait for the preseason to be over.
Yeah, week 1. We are going to do a week 1 show next week.
Yep, we're going to feature 2 games. We're each going to pick a game we want to see.
Yep.
We're going to do a rapid fire on the rest of the games and point out who we think is going to be the best fantasy player of the week.
And we're going to do it against the spread.
Against the spread, yeah.
All right, so we'll see how everything turns out.
Going for it.